Send help, I just pulled a God pack is what I really wish I could say, but unfortunately today I am reacting to a Reddit post of the month-old debate of whether or not you should be selling your God pack if you're unsure on what to do. So this guy on Reddit, he's made a post of his God pack, wish I could be him, and he's basically saying, "Hi all, I'm making this post because I can't make a decision on what to do with my God pack from Prismatic Evolutions. I've collected since I was little and I have never sold a card nor graded one. As much as I'd love to keep them in my collection, the prices for the cards raw alone is absurd, and I 100% agree. I think everybody agrees that this set is a once in a lifetime set where you've got the capability of actually pulling $4,000 worth of cards from one pack alone. And this guy is leaning towards selling them despite not being in need of immediate cash, which is completely understandable. For most people, or some people, $4,000 is a month or two of their work wages. They seem for the most part to be PSA 10 material. There may be a couple cards with tiny dots of whitenings. I assume those would receive a 9. Definitely a 9 or lower at least. So this guy's got a couple ideas, a couple options to pick from, and I'm just going to review each one. So hopefully if you're watching this and you've been lucky enough to get a God pack, hopefully I can provide a little bit of guidance and kind of narrow down your options and hopefully ultimately help you make a decision on what may be best for you to do at the time of watching the video. So option 1 is grading the cards and holding them in the collection. If I decide to sell them in 1 to 3 years, the profit margin will increase. I think the key word here is will, and I kind of disagree with this. I think in 1 year, there would probably be a decrease in price. I mean, I can only really see the Pokemon hype sort of dying down in a year or two, and typically these sets do kind of print for about 2 years, and the Pokemon company themselves have made an announcement saying that they do want to increase printing on these, which is completely understandable. I mean, the hype on cards right now is pretty much the highest it's ever been, so it makes complete sense that the Pokemon company do want to take advantage and get as much product as they possibly can on them store shelves. I mean, looking at it now, it seems borderline impossible to find these on shelves. The company will be trying their hardest to make them as widely available as possible, and simple supply and demand, you know that as the supply increases, the demand will drop a tiny bit, and you can see some retraces. Probably and most likely you will see some retraces. But again, I do kind of agree with the final sort of bit of this range here. 3+ years, I think yes, in about 3 years these hopefully or hopefully not, these will probably be out of print in over 3 years. I think definitely in 4 years these will be out of print, and that's, I guess, what this first point is sort of alluding to, that if you do hold them long term, as in 3, 4, 5, 6 years, they will increase in price. I do kind of agree with that. Once they do go out of print, they will definitely be reaching brand new highs and only really continue to go up. So the second option is what I would sort of do, selling the cards now online before prices drop, likely eBay. I'm not too sure where else. I think if you are selling online, definitely eBay, unless you know some sort of local card store that has an online website where they process all of that stuff. One thing I highly recommend though is that if you are selling online, do not cheap out on insurance or packaging. So if you're having it sent with UPS, FedEx, whatever it may be, make sure that the parcel has insurance up to the maximum value possible to actually match how much you're selling it for. So if you're selling it for $4,000, make sure your parcel has $4,000 worth of insurance. Otherwise, don't send it at all, because you will only be messing yourself up if things go wrong. I would list for at least 6k. I mean, this post was made 23 days ago, and OP is saying they would list for at least 6k. So I'm kind of assuming that 23 days ago market price was around 6k, maybe 5.5. I mean, if you go on Pokedata right now and take a look at the prices, you'll see that if you add up all the cards from the God pack, it would be around $4,000, maybe 4,100. But that's damn near a $2,000 decrease in 23 days. So that really sort of highlights how important it is to take action and not just sit on the fence. If you do want to get that money out, make sure you do it as fast as possible, because the reprints will really damage how much money you can actually milk from this pack. Third of all, grade the cards and sell them when they come back from PSA. Ideally sell them for 7 to 10k. I mean, I think if you get three of these cards as a PSA 10, that's really optimistic. And I'm talking if you get the Umbreon, maybe the Sylveon, and maybe another one of them back as a 10, I think that would be an increase of around $3,500, which would take you to about 7.5. So not quite that 7 to 10k that OP was asking for. Maybe 23 days ago it could have been 7 to 10k. Um, I think right now that's really optimistic, and I think you should only be grading them if you either have someone. You should only really be grading them if either you have a lot of experience in grading cards and that you can typically suss out when a card will come back as a 10 or not. If you do have that experience and the eye for grading, sure, why not? If you think one of them's a 10 or a couple of them are 10s, just send them off, see how it goes, and sell the 9 material ones. And sell the ones that you think will come back as a 9. I mean, if you're really strapped for cash, you can sell the shittier cards that may not be 10s, and that should cover most of your fees for actually getting them graded. So OP is leaning towards number 2, but the issue is eBay would take roughly $400 to $800 in fees. So I guess that sort of opens up another path. If you've got some decent local stores near you, you could always phone them up. Don't have to always go in person, but just ask them what their rates are. I know normally stores do about 70 to 75% cash offers, which isn't horrible. I mean, you don't have to worry about your taxes, your fees. You don't have to worry about your parcel getting lost or scammers or anything. Hopefully not. Hopefully your card store's decent and not scammers. That 25% you may lose selling them in store rather than online, I think that kind of gets made up for in terms of peace of mind when you're actually completing the transaction rather than online. There's so many different things that could possibly go wrong that 25% is kind of worth it. Just, cash in hand, boom, there you go, easy sale. But the premise of this video is to sort of talk about what I would do in this case and try and give what I think is decent advice at the time. So currently, I would pretty much sell these raw, unless you've definitely got an eye for spotting out 10s, and send off whatever you may think could be a 10, and then sell the rest individually, to be honest. Sell them raw on eBay is what I would do, and remember that maximum insurance. And personally, with the money, you can set aside how much you want for your bills. You can treat yourself, treat your family, whatever you want to do with the money, that's completely fine. But I would also reinvest, since this is a reinvesting or scalping channel, whatever the hell you want to call it. You can call me Team Rocket, it don't matter. But personally, with a bit of money, if not all of it, if you can, if you are willing to take that risk, I would be reinvesting into the newer sets. I mean, you've got Destined Rivals, which is the Team Rocket set, I believe. You've got Journey Together as well. Those are two really hype sets currently. And what I would do is be putting money from this God pack straight into those on release day, or even I would put money from this God pack straight into them, whether it would be on pre-releases or on release day. But obviously, as you know, I'm a really big fan of Pokemon Center ETBs. I'd dump as much money as I possibly can into those. I know with how the market is right now, a lot of people using bots, a lot of people scalping. It may be really difficult, but honestly, I feel like I favour my chances. I did quite decent in the Prismatic release, and I got quite a few Pokemon Center ETBs, so hopefully I can do the same on the other release days as well. Just honestly put as much money as you can into these PC ETBs, because they would definitely be double to triple return on investments, and I can confidently say that. And I'd kind of bet that it would make those type of returns in quite short term as well. And if you're unfortunate and you don't really get your hands on any Pokemon Center boxes, then of course I recommend those pre-orders on booster boxes. Obviously for sets that do have booster boxes available, I'd put in some pre-orders. Typically those are normally under retail, under that $140 or pounds mark. I know typically you can get some for about 110, 120. That might be harder because of the current climate we're in. But if you can either get your hands on the Pokemon Center boxes or booster boxes under retail, I genuinely think you are winning short term. Obviously you're winning long term as well, but short term you can make some decent gains. I mean, on booster boxes, hopefully, a 30-40% ROI is definitely achievable in the matter of months, maybe even a month of release date. If you do get your boxes cheap enough, you're already in profit and you can sell. And that $4,000, you could probably, with relative ease, turn that into about $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 really. I mean, I guess the main thing is how many ETBs you get your hands on, as those are the most volatile in terms of uptrends in the market. Those seem to do the biggest gains right now. Ideally, if we're living in an optimistic dream world, I would sell right now, get that 4,000, dump it into them ETBs, and just watch your money grow. Obviously, this is easier said than done. I'm just kind of putting out some hypotheticals, some what ifs in your head. Hopefully this video narrowed down some of your decisions. Hopefully you've got a bit of clarity on what to do in this sort of madness. I mean, I feel like most of the people watching this are just watching it just out of curiosity on what bullshit this random guy on the internet has to say. I mean, I doubt anyone who's actually pulled a God pack will be viewing this video, but if you are, hope I've been of some use, and if you do have any questions, do let me know in the comments. And if you've made it this far, please do leave a like or dislike if you want, completely up to you. A bit of feedback in the comments would be nice. And yeah, do subscribe if you want to see some more ramblings of a random on the internet talking about shiny cardboard. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you later.